There was once a young fox who lived at the edge of a quiet forest, where the tall pine trees touched the mountains. Every morning, he watched the eagles soaring high above the clouds. They looked fearless, free, and powerful. The little fox dreamed of becoming just like them. "I wish I could be strong enough to do something great," he often whispered. But every time he tried something difficult, he failed. He couldn't climb the tallest rocks. He wasn't the fastest runner. He wasn't the strongest animal in the forest either. Slowly, he began comparing himself to everyone around him. The deer ran faster. The wolves hunted better. The birds reached places he could never go. Day after day, his confidence disappeared. One cold evening, after another failed attempt to climb a rocky hill, the young fox sat alone beside a small river. He stared at his reflection in the water. "Maybe I was born ordinary," he said with a heavy heart. "Maybe some animals are meant for greatness and others are not." As he spoke those words, an old tortoise slowly walked toward the river. The tortoise had lived in the forest longer than anyone could remember. His shell was worn by time, but his eyes were calm and full of wisdom. He looked at the young fox and asked gently, "Why does your heart sound heavier than these mountains?" The fox sighed. "I keep trying, but I always fail. No matter what I do, someone else is always better." The old tortoise smiled, but he didn't answer immediately. Instead, he picked up a tiny pine seed that had fallen onto the ground. He placed it in the fox's paw and quietly said, "This little seed will teach you something that no eagle ever can." The fox looked at the tiny seed with confusion. "How can something so small change my life?" The tortoise simply smiled. "Tomorrow morning," he said softly, "plant it, and don't expect it to become a tree by sunset." The next morning, the young fox woke before sunrise. He looked at the tiny pine seed resting in his paw. Part of him wanted to throw it away. It looked too small to matter. "How could this little thing possibly change my life?" he murmured. But the old tortoise's calm voice echoed in his mind. "Plant it, and don't expect it to become a tree by sunset." With a deep breath, the fox walked to a quiet patch of soil beside the river. He dug a small hole, gently placed the seed inside, covered it with earth, and poured water over it. Then he waited. An hour passed. Nothing happened. By evening, the ground looked exactly the same. The fox felt disappointed. "I knew it," he sighed. "Nothing ever changes." The following morning, he returned to the same spot. Still nothing. For days, the earth remained silent. Rain came. Cold winds swept through the valley. Sometimes he wondered if the seed had died beneath the soil. Several times he thought about digging it up, but each time he remembered the tortoise's words. So, instead of giving up, he watered the ground every single day. While taking care of the seed, something unexpected began to happen. The fox became more patient. He stopped rushing through the forest. He noticed the smell of fresh pine after the rain. He watched butterflies dancing above the flowers. He listened to the gentle sound of the river flowing over smooth stones. For the first time in his life, he wasn't thinking about being better than anyone else. He was simply growing. Then one cool morning, as the golden sunlight touched the earth, the fox saw something green breaking through the soil. A tiny sprout. It was no taller than a blade of grass, yet the fox smiled wider than he ever had before. It wasn't just a plant. It was proof that the greatest changes begin where no one can see them. And deep inside, the young fox realized, perhaps the same was true for him. The little pine tree continued to grow, slowly but faithfully. Some days, the sun warmed its tiny leaves. Other days, powerful winds bent it almost to the ground. Yet every morning, the young fox came back with fresh water and quiet hope. As the weeks passed, the forest began to notice the change in him. He no longer compared himself to the deer. He no longer envied the birds. Instead of chasing what others had, he focused on becoming a little better than he had been yesterday. One afternoon, while walking through the forest, the fox heard frightened cries. A family of rabbits had become trapped after a heavy storm knocked down several large branches, blocking the entrance to their burrow. Many animals gathered around, but no one knew what to do. The wolves were strong, but the opening was too narrow for them. The deer were fast, but speed couldn't move the heavy branches. The birds could see everything from above, but they couldn't lift the wood. The young fox quietly stepped forward. Because he had spent weeks exploring the forest on foot, he remembered a small path hidden behind a cluster of bushes. It led to the back of the rabbit's burrow. Without wasting a second, he guided the trapped family through the narrow passage to safety. The rabbits came out one by one, safe and smiling. The entire forest fell silent. For the first time, no one praised the fastest runner or the strongest animal. They thanked the young fox. That evening, the old tortoise found him sitting beside the growing pine tree. "You look different," the tortoise said. The fox smiled gently. "I used to think greatness meant being stronger than everyone else." He looked at the little tree swaying peacefully in the wind. "But now, I think greatness means growing every day, even when nobody is watching." The old tortoise nodded. "The forest didn't need another eagle," he said softly. "It needed a fox who never stopped growing." The fox looked up at the stars, and for the first time in many months, his heart felt light. Seasons came and went. The tiny pine tree that once barely peeked above the ground had grown into a strong, young tree. Its roots reached deep into the earth, and its branches stretched confidently toward the sky. The young fox had changed too. He was no longer the restless animal who measured his worth by comparing himself with others. He had become calm, patient, and quietly confident. One autumn morning, a powerful storm swept through the mountains. The wind roared across the forest, tearing leaves from the trees and sending frightened animals searching for shelter. When the storm finally passed, many paths were blocked by fallen branches and broken rocks. Small animals couldn't find their way home. Without waiting for someone else to act, the fox began helping. He cleared narrow trails. He guided lost squirrels back to their nests. He led frightened fawns to their families. He stayed with the weakest until everyone was safe. Late that afternoon, the old tortoise walked beside him. Looking around at the peaceful forest, he smiled. "Do you remember the day you wanted to become an eagle?" The fox laughed softly. "I do. I thought flying high was the only way to live a meaningful life." The tortoise gently touched the trunk of the pine tree. And now, the fox looked at the animals happily returning to their homes. "I've learned that life isn't about reaching the highest place. It's about becoming someone who lifts others, no matter where you stand." The tortoise nodded with pride. "That little seed didn't just grow into a tree," he said. "It grew inside your heart." The fox looked up at the clear blue sky. The eagles were still soaring above the mountains, just as they always had. But this time, he didn't wish to trade places with them. He had discovered his own purpose. He smiled, took a deep breath, and continued walking forward, one steady step at a time, because he finally understood a truth that would stay with him forever. You don't become extraordinary by trying to be someone else. You become extraordinary by faithfully growing into the person you were created to be. Life lesson. Many people spend their lives comparing themselves with others. They chase someone else's success and forget to nurture their own gifts. Real growth is slow. It happens in quiet moments, through patience, discipline, and small daily actions. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's. Plant your own seed, care for it every day, and trust that in time, it will grow into something stronger than you ever imagined. Sometimes, the greatest transformation begins long before anyone else can see it.